6 stars are currently in the shootout for Logan Sargeant's Formula 1 seat. Another race and another Sunday of suffering for Williams Formula 1 rookie Logan Sargeant at the worst possible time for a poor performance. Days earlier, AlphaTauri silenced those wondering which 2 of their 3 races would drive for them in 2024, leaving Sargeant's seat as a sole unknown for the next season. Japan was when the American needed to show signs that he is improving at a sufficient pace that Williams would be foolish to look elsewhere, but that wasn't to be. Team principal James Vowles now faces one of the toughest tasks of his tenure at the team's helm to make the right call on who will partner Alex Albon for 2024. Fortunately for Vowles, there's no shortage of possibilities, and arguably, he can't lose, no matter his decision. Here's who is in the frame to race for Williams in 2024. Logan Sargeant, of course the easiest choice, is often to make none and stick to their course. For Williams, that means backing their former academy driver and giving him another year to learn and improve. AlphaTauri's team principal Franz Tost is perhaps the authority figure on working with Formula 1 rookies, and he believes a driver needs 3 seasons to be at their best. If Vowles believes the same, then keeping with Sargeant amid the mounting pressure might be a masterstroke. Despite his very public struggles to adapt to Formula 1, Sargeant's junior years had him laps away from beating Oscar Piastri to the Formula 3 crown, and he was just 1 point away from Liam Lawson in Formula 2 last year, despite the Kiwi boasting more experience. Williams saw enough potential in Sargeant to bring him into the fold in 2021, so perhaps they will see growth in the Floridian. On the other hand, former boss Jos Capito, not Vowles, brought Sargeant in, and has plenty to change at Groves since the German's departure. The next candidate would be Liam Lawson. A solid case of recency bias has fans cooing over Liam Lawson's results since coming into the sport. That's not unfounded, with the New Zealander impressing everyone by stepping into Daniel Ricciardo's shoes and scoring points just 3 races into his Formula 1 career. The decision to opt for age and experience over his youthful hungriness in AlphaTauri's 2024 driver lineup was curious after Lawson's bombastic arrival, but that might be to Williams' advantage. Alex Albon is a talented driver transformed at the Oxfordshire team after escaping his Red Bull past, and Lawson might continue that trend. Piastri is the living embodiment that a driver with the ability can soar, no matter their experience, and Lawson's 4 races reinforces that view. At the risk of looking like a Red Bull refugee centre, Williams would do well with an Albon-Lawson partnership. I like that. Red Bull refugee centre. Mick Schumacher, though, is also in the driver lineup for that Williams seat for next season. It is clear, though, that Toto Wolff wants Mick Schumacher to be racing, just not in one of his cars. A similar situation came in 2019 after George Russell won Formula 2 but couldn't land a drive at Mercedes for his troubles. Williams were the team to profit from the Britain's talents, and as he honed his craft, culminating in that P2 qualification at the Belgian Grand Prix, Schumacher could follow a similar path, though the 2020 Formula 2 champion hasn't shown the same aptitude as Russell for finding stable Formula 1 footing. Nonetheless, he's the driver with the most Grand Prix to his name in the frame for that drive, and Williams would benefit from having 2 drivers who know the sport well. However, Haas dropped Schumacher for a reason, as the German continued finding himself in the wall. Williams would do well to get Wolff to offer a power unit discount should they swap one error-prone racer with another. However, it appears Schumacher could already be on his way to Alpine. Felipe Drugovich is currently the reserve driver for the Aston Martin team, but is also in contention for this drive. The driver that dominated the 2022 Formula 2 championship is without a drive as well, while the one that finished 117 points behind in P4 races for Williams. It's a funny old sport. While Piastri escaped his year on the sidelines to somehow end up at a podium-worthy team in 2022's sensational silly season, Drugovich remains in the shadows. Unless Lawrence Stroll disowns his own son, Aston Martin is not where the Brazilian will get a racing opportunity soon, so jumping to Williams could be his best bet. While Logan Sargeant faltered in 2022, Drugovich's consistency had him take the Formula 2 title. But he is an unknown quantity in Formula 1 machinery for Williams to risk. Would Stroll Sr. finally incentivize a rival team to take one of his drivers to sweeten the deal? Of all drivers in the frame, I think Drugovich is most unlikely. Perhaps Fernando Alonso has shared retirement plans with Aston Martin, and they'll need a race-ready replacement for 2025. Frederik Vesti is also one of the drivers in contention. He is currently a Mercedes development driver, and he is on track to reach Formula 1 in the future. A Mercedes junior driver on the same trajectory as George Russell once followed is current Formula 2 title challenger Frederik Vesti. The Danish driver is perhaps the best of the 2023 Formula 2 field, but hasn't had luck falling in his favour like championship leader Teo Pourchaire. Nonetheless, we've seen with Piastri and Drugovich that winning Formula 2 doesn't guarantee anything, while Sargent, Tsunoda, Zhou, and even high-flying Norris found themselves at the top without a title. If Wolff wants Vessi as a possible Hamilton replacement, he'll need the 21-year-old racer in Formula 1 sooner rather than later. So Williams would make sense. As with Drugovich, where the Williams would want an unknown is the issue. But a 2017 Valtteri Bottas-like deal, where the team would get a Mercedes engine discount, could sway them. Bowles would like Vessi's no-nonsense approach, which is somewhat reminiscent of his former driver Nico Rosberg during Mercedes' years of domination. I'd argue that Albon makes the possibility of Williams repeating that cycle of incubating a Mercedes driver far less problematic than recent years with Russell. So Vessi might be the surprise choice. The final driver in contention for the seat is of course Théo Pourchaire, who is currently on his way to clinch the Formula 2 championship. The likely 2023 Formula 2 champion would buck the trend of the title-winning driver failing to find a Formula 1 seat if he joined Williams for 2024. Working against the Frenchman is a total lack of affiliation with Williams or engine partner Mercedes, but stranger things have happened. Pourchaire is the latest prodigy child of Frédéric Vasseur, in the same way Charles Leclerc once was, and he impressed many in his early feeder series days. The success story stumbled upon reaching Formula 2, while Piastri and Drugovich destroyed that competition. But Pourchaire is finally fulfilling the potential in his third season. With Vasseur leaving the Sauber operation for Ferrari, there's a question mark hanging over Pourchaire's head on where he stands next. Williams would be a surprise landing spot, but he beat Sargent in Formula 2 last year, and looks set to take the 2023 crown. So Pourchaire should be in the running too. Certainly a lot of chat over who is going to take that Williams seat next year. It's all to play for still, and really is making a lot of headlines around the world as to who could get that seat. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who does get into that seat, and whoever does is going to be very lucky because that Williams car has had a resurgence in pace in this season. So it's certainly going to be a seat that a lot of drivers would love to get into. Albon has been performing really, really well in that car. So I'd love to see Mick Schumacher in that seat because I'd love for him to get another opportunity in Formula 1. But we don't really know who Williams is going to come out and choose for that seat.